Welcome to ScreenCrush, I'm Ryan Airy. Chapter 16 of The Mandalorian is a turning point for the series, so spoilers ahead for that episode. Grogu has left the show to train with Luke Skywalker. That opens up so many questions that I discussed in our Ending Explained video. And also, Moff Gideon's been captured, yay! Except, it's too late.
I've already got what I want from him.
So what is it that Gideon needed the child for in the first place? Well, all we know for sure is that it will
Bring order back to the galaxy.
But the biggest clue was those bodies in a jar that we saw back in episode 4 this season. Now this isn't confirmed, but I think this is one of many attempts to clone Emperor Palpatine or Supreme Leader Snoke.
I'm so confused.
Let me explain. We know from Rise of Skywalker that Emperor Palpatine was able to return from the dead using
cloning. Secrets only the Sith knew.
And the Emperor alludes to this himself, saying,
"The dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural."
Now this is all intentionally vague. The Jaw's dorsal fin of exposition. The less they explain in the movie, the more we get to imagine, and the less filmmakers had to clutter the movie with pseudoscience. That's what novelizations are for. The Rise of Skywalker novelization revealed that Palpatine was able to use the dark side to keep his spirit alive. But he needed a body that could retain his essence, and that was Force sensitive. This is why he wants Rey to strike down his old body so he can possess hers. It might have even been his plan with Luke.
Strike me down with it.
But the key here is that the body has to be Force sensitive. See, clones are manufactured, strandcasts. Therefore, they lack midichlorians. You remember.
Midichlorians are a microscopic life form that resides within all living cells, telling us the will of the Force.
Now, of course, the Mandalorian has tried real hard not to call them midichlorians. Instead, they say,
"I highly doubt we'll find a donor with a higher M count, though."
But it's the same thing. Remember, the more midichlorians, the stronger one is with the Force.
The reading is off the chart.
Now, from what we've seen, Grogu is very strong with the Force, so he's got a high M count. Since the Clone Wars, Palpatine has been kidnapping Force-sensitive babies, either to raise them to be Sith Inquisitors, to kill them before they become threats, or, we have learned, to extract midichlorians from their blood. The Rise of Skywalker novelization revealed that Rey's father was actually one of these clones. He was an anomaly who didn't even look like Palpatine. But when he procreated with a natural-born woman, the result was Rey, a half-Palpatine clone, half-human hybrid with a very high M count. So, in the Mandalorian finale, we hear that Moff Gideon has already drawn the blood he needs. Well, if that's the case, why is he still so desperate to save Dr. Pershing at the start of the episode?
Copy, Lambda Shuttle. Request received.
Launch TIE fighters.
He could have just shot this shuttle down or let him die, especially after he heard Bo-Katan's voice on the intercom.
Negative, we are under attack!
Well, it's because Dr. Pershing is an expert in cloning. He's the one who can bring Palpatine back to life. You can see this on his lab in Navarro. These tanks are more than likely the cloned bodies of Palpatine. So if Gideon loses Pershing, it's a setback, but his overall plan to resurrect the Emperor will still continue. Now, what's interesting is that the Empire didn't actually manage to resurrect the Emperor. In Chuck Wendig's Aftermath trilogy, it's revealed that the Emperor's contingency plan, in case of his death, was to destroy most of the Imperial fleet and then have the remnants, the strongest of the strongest, go to an area of the galaxy called the Unknown Regions. This is a vast, unexplored part of the galaxy that we see partially in Rise of Skywalker.
The Emperor and his fleet have been hiding in the Unknown Regions on a world called Exegol.
Now, like they say in that movie, it's really hard to navigate through all the space danger to get there. So the Empire fled to the Unknown Regions and it became the First Order, and then it came back to the main part of the galaxy. But note that Moff Gideon is not part of the First Order. But his Imperial remnants could have been absorbed by the First Order eventually anyways. I don't think that's what happened here though. I think the Moff Gideon was vying for control of these Imperial remnants. Now we know there were several Imperial warlords fighting each other to lead the new Empire. But Gideon refused to go to the Unknown Regions with the other forces that became the First Order. He stayed behind and went to work cloning Palpatine. See, if he were to successfully resurrect him, then the Emperor would show him favor and he would gain authority in the new order. But this isn't what happened. The First Order didn't resurrect the Empire. No one in the First Order even knew about Palpatine's resurrection project, except maybe Snoke, because he came from a jar of Snokes that Palpatine kept in a secret clubhouse. So instead, the Emperor was resurrected by Sith cultists in the Unknown Regions. You know, these cats who cheered him on in his fight with Rey. I'm not sure how Lucasfilm is going to reconcile this. Was Gideon working with a group independent of the First Order? Then Gideon's group maybe eventually became the Sith fleet we see in Rise of Skywalker, and the First Order were kind of a feint to distract from the real threat. I don't know. It's all kind of messy because the Rise of Skywalker was so slapped together and not thought out. But the great thing is that now, a slew of creators like Jon Favreau get to explore all of these questions for us in great shows like The Mandalorian. Just like the Clone Wars redeemed many lamer aspects of the prequels, this new Lucasfilm slate can enhance the experience of watching these movies. But what are your thoughts on Gideon's plan? Let me know in the comments below or at me on Twitter. And if it's your first time here, please subscribe. For ScreenCrush, I'm Ryan Airy.